young men who come to become officers in the Royal Navy. Cadets from the Commonwealth and friendly foreign navies also come for their basic training too. College was designed by Sir Ashton Webb. Foundation stone laid in 1902. The college was then out for business in 1905. The college was purpose-built to replace two man-of-war hulks, the Britannia and Hindustan. It was also up here in 1939 a young Princess Elizabeth met a young Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark while attending a passing-out parade. About 6 years old and is built to replace a paddle-driven vessel lying across the river here. This one is pulled across by two steel cables and barely the ferry is much larger than the old one, carries up to 35 cars, lorries or coaches. But please bear in mind this is your last crossing point between here and Totnes with the vehicle. If you're to miss this ferry, the last one's 11 o'clock at night, and you'd like to go from one side of the river to the other, it'd be a 25-mile trip. Let's look over to the left here, see a large green shed surrounded by smaller sheds. This is the small naval base Sankey, affiliated to Britannia Royal Naval College. On the inside the jetty, the grey warship you see, this is Hindustan, former HMS Cromer Sandown Brothers. She's now a static classroom, as all her engines and armaments have been removed. And this is where the young cadets go for their basic sea training, and to find out what it's like to live and work aboard a vessel without actually going to sea. And then this makes it a lot safer for us. Also to the left there you have some blue and white picket boats and small grey boat whalers. The cadets use these for their basic boating manoeuvres, as in come alongside, man overboard, stemming the buoy and to get used to wind and tide. To the right there you have Philip and Sons Shipbuilders and Engineers, established in 1858, also locally known as NOS. Instead of built ferries across the Mersey, sometimes, also built a Trinity lighthouse ships here. During the Second World War they built a total of 240 vessels, including minesweepers and air sea rescue launches. Sadly, 12 years ago the business was closed down. It was then brought by a consortium of businessmen called Panier Holdings. And what they do is they go up and down the country buying their hot marinas and doing them up. So far they've knocked down the old outbuildings these lovely boats were built in, and they've extended the marina. It's now a 300 berth marina. They're now going to build a 5-star hotel, conference centre and 70 luxury homes. Now just coming to view on our right hand side, you have two very old vessels just sitting on the right. These are Brixham sailing trawlers. They were built on this river at Gant, just 2 miles upriver from here. Proved to be very successful, over 400 of them were built. There's only 4 of them left at the moment, there's 2 here. This is Provident and Leader. And the 2 what are around in Brixham still, they still do training sail days and weeks, so you can go on board and learn how to sail them. It is a nice experience. Over to the right there you have two very nice properties on the river's edge. One's got yellow doors and window frames, and this house has been here for quite a few years now. Now the gentleman that owns this house used to look out to an old white boathouse called Maywood Boathouse, starting to fall to pieces, actually sinking into the mud. So he brought it, knocked it down and built this nice new one. Now what's special about this new one is the roof is actually made of copper. Will eventually turn green and blend in with the hillside behind. Top floor you have a 3-bedroom apartment. Downstairs you have a swimming pool, jacuzzi, gymnasium and a bar. There's also a lavatory system on the left hand side that you may be able to come back with the boat and lift that takes you up. Go straight with your boat straight into the bar. Sends you up and down this very Now once the gentleman built this house, he then turned around and gave it to his daughter. And my ex-wife has been happy ever since. Now if we look over to the right through the tops of the trees, in a couple of moments time you'll see a 3-storey Georgian mansion, and this is Greenway House. Now Greenway House was once owned by the late Dame Agatha Christie. She purchased it in 1939 for the sum of £6,000. On her death in 1976 the estate was then passed to her daughter, a Miss Rosalind Hicks, and entered the National Trust. It was also up here in 1939 the estates were used for the evacuated children from London, and from 1944 to 1945 it was used by the 10th Flotilla of the United States Coast Guard as their local headquarters. Now I'm not sure if many of you are aware, but Agatha Christie was actually born in Torquay, just 8 miles around the corner from here in 1890.
Yeah. Don't know where we're going.
That sound signal you heard, there's nothing to worry about. It's just to let other boat users know we intend to turn to left or to port. Now as we make our turn, if you look ahead you'll see the village of Dittisham, locally pronounced as Ditson, named after the Saxon chief who set up camp here called Didas, and there's been archaeological evidence of occupation for at least 4,000 years. It was also here in Ditson it is famous for damson and ploughman plums. Similar to Victorian plums, it was said at one time to tree or orchard in almost every garden. Now there is a little ferry service that will take you up to Ditson. it's not up there at the moment, but there is two little ferries. One's called Carlina, one's called Sandpiper. And once you get up there, you can walk around this lovely, pretty village. And then you can go to one of the two pubs. Now you can see one of the pubs from here. It's a large pink building called the Ferry Boat Inn, or FBI. Of Greenway House. Just over to the right there we have some swans, mum and dad with some cygnets. Also over to the left here, see an old looking farmhouse. This is Greenwood. Opens up the freestone archways to the tides of the canal. Beyond the three wooden doors also installed the saltwater plunge pool. Now the Victorians were led to believe that salt water was a cure for ailments such as arthritis and rheumatism. Left there from the valley you see a large stone viaduct, and this is Greenway Viaduct, designed by Isambard, Kingdom Brunel. Like a lot of the structures from London down to the West Country. Brunel never actually got time to finish the line off. It was taken on by the Dartmouth and Torbay Steam Railway over time, and they finished the line from Newton Abbot down into Kingswood. Some 6 years later it was then taken over by the Great Western Railway and then British Rail. In 1970 British Rail shut the line down. It was then designated a heritage line, and since 1999 it's been under management and operation of Dartmouth Steam Railway and Riverboat Company. the ugly boat. It's not actually the boat, it is actually the crew we're talking about. And as they go past, you'll see what we mean. And I do apologise now. Now just over to the right you have a nice old looking boat on the river's edge. This is Kingsgate, so holiday rentals. Be a very nice place to be, especially on a summer's evening. Now the kids locally call this house with a face. As we go past you'll see why. Now, I'm not sure if many of you are aware, but the River Dart is actually 42 miles in length. It starts off in a place called Cranmere Pool up on Dartmouth. But it's only navigable for 8 of those miles up to the town of Dartmouth. She has a rise and fall between 5 and 15 feet and a tidal rate of 2 to 3 knots. Now, coming into view on our right hand side is Old Mill Creek, and as the name suggests, there is an old mill house at the end. Sadly, you won't see the mill house. The creek does go on for about 3/4 of a mile. What you can see is some large sheds and small boatyards. That's in the largest of these, where we run off to in the winter time. We take our pleasure boats up there, and they get equivalent for a marine MOT, and this is done by the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency. We do our own repair work and painting ourselves. Now, this creek does actually dry out on a low tide. For vessels of this size, we have to go up on a high spring tide, and even then we still need to keep to a deep water channel over to the left of the creek near the moorings. if you look over to the left, I've got something quite interesting to point out. Now, if you look halfway up the hillside, you notice that someone's decided to put an 18-foot silver giraffe in their back garden. Now, why someone's put an 18-foot silver giraffe in their back garden, we have no idea. If anyone's got any clues, please let us know. All this we're glad is we don't have to polish it.
Decoration. What that means.
Okay, it's downstairs. All right, be careful.
We're going to do this lifting them.
Now, from Bedford to the left there where the car ferry is, you look at the top of the ramp there, you find two lots of barriers there. This is known as Britannia Halt or Britannia Crosses. And in years gone by, this is where the steam train would stop to let off the young officer cadets. They were then caught a ferry to our right. They were then been paraded round the town in full uniform. Sadly, this tradition has now stopped. Just over to the right there, you have Dartmouth Marina and Hotel. This is one of the more exclusive hotels and marinas in the Dartmouth area. Now, this was actually the original site of Philip & Son. The boat builders for it moved up to Moss. Car park the slipways for the boats and the buildings behind with the offices and joinery shops.
Hey, hello. Did you go go on your own? You okay? James, what? James wanted, but we're not near the ocean. This is the river. Did he? Daddy's still awake.
Wow.
Daddy spent the money downstairs. Did get a cheeky with you. You want to do it, my heart.
Now, just coming up on the right hand side is our private moorings. Now, at the end of it, you find the paddle steamer, the Kingsville Castle. Now, she was built on this river at Moss in 1924 and plied her trade between Dartmouth and Totnes to 1965. She was then purchased by the Paddle Steamer Preservation Society and then taken to the Medway in Kent. And this is where she stayed for quite a few years until we come along and struck a deal with the Preservation Society, and we now have her back home where she belongs. She is also the last remaining coal-fired passenger paddle steamer left in the country, and only one of 13 left in the world.
Lay down on here, sleep. Yeah. Okay, be really careful, okay? Don't fall in the ocean.
Now just over on the right hand side you have two more of our sister vessels. One some of you have probably been on today, that is the Kingswood Princess Ferry. She's one of our ferries. The other one is over on the left in Kingswood, which is the Dartmouth Princess. And you have the Cardiff Castle. Now the Cardiff Castle was built in Dorset in 1964, and she was built to replace the paddle steamer at Kingsville Castle. She is also the last remaining, she was built to replace the paddle steamer at Kingsville Castle. And she is the biggest passenger carrying vessel in the southwest of England in land waterways and can carry. Now you see quite a large sailing vessel just in front of us. Now this is TS Royalist, or traineeship Royalist. Now it's actually based, its home port is actually Portsmouth. Now they go up and down the country with sea cadets. It's owned by the Sea Cadets of Great Britain. So this is, they come out on this and do a lot of training up and down the British Isles.
10-15 minutes and then here back.
You're on.
Pilgrim Fathers set sail from Newfoundland in the Speedwell Mayflower after pulling in from Southampton to repairs. Just up from there you have Baird's Cove Castle, a semicircular fortification, and this was the final line defence for Dartmouth Harbour. Also to the right here you have above town and south town, the more exclusive, more expensive parts of Dartmouth. And this is where I live, in the tent on top of the hill. If you look out in front of us, see an open expanse of water. This is the English Channel, or Western Approaches, designated as one of the busier waterways in the world. Busiest shipping lanes around to your left towards Southampton and Dover. Every now and again you see big oil tankers and cargo ships come floating past, and they're coming in close towards Tor Bay to pick up and drop off a Channel pilot. Now Channel pilots, very experienced sea captains or navigators, and they go up and down the English Channel with these large vessels, navigating the Dover Straits, which is the busiest waterways in the world. Now to your right there you have Dartmouth Castle, building starting in 1481 following French range designed defensive artillery, one of the first in England. In 1940 it's fitted with twin 4 7-inch guns as a coastal defence battery with a range of 100 miles. Also inside the grounds there's the Church of Petrox, built in 1110, but it's only used for occasional evening song and the occasional summer wedding. All the grounds are owned and maintained by English Heritage. Now, just to the left of the harbour's entrance, this is a smaller castle. This is Kingswood Castle. Kingswood Castle was built as line defence harbour of Dartmouth. Never used, she was too exposed. They're used as holiday accommodation, and it's run by the trust. Second turn, if there's a slight motion in the ocean, so if you like to hold on to something or someone, preferably someone you know, but we are quite friendly on this vessel. Now if you look right ahead of us now, you see quite a large white house in the tree line. This is Brook Hill House. Now, Brook Hill House was used by the Free French during the Second World War as our local headquarters. I don't know about you, but it looks a bit big for three of them to me. So as we make our turn, if you just look over to the right there, you see a strange looking white object on the beach. This is Dartmouth's leading in light. Shines 3 lights 8 miles out at sea, a red, white and a green. These are for you to follow in late at night or in clear weather. For a safe passage into the harbour's entrance, you follow the white light. If you to mirror the red or the green, you would end up with one of many hazards underneath the water's surface. Now just up from the strange white object, see an old looking property on the river's edge. It's got castellated turrets, scaffolding up the side of the cliff, and a grey crane in the middle. Now it looks as if it could be 200 years old or more. We're surprised to learn this house is actually 15 years old. The gentleman got permission to build a boathouse on the beach and he got a little bit carried away. But he has won 2 awards, one for the interior, one for the exterior. And he's actually still building the house. There's only 2 ways of getting materials to the house. One is by boat and one is by that scaffolding, which is actually a lift system. But a lot of us on the river think it's one of the better looking properties we have. Now as we make our way around the corner here, you see the impressive sight of Britannia Royal Navy College sat high on the hill. Now it's built in this elevated position so it's keeping an eye on the ships entering and leaving the port, and also on the fleet of minesweepers Dartmouth once had. Now you see 2 car ferries, one on the left, one on the right. These are Dartmouth's lower car ferries, and these are run on a tug and float system. What happens is the skipper reverses out and goes stern. Let's go the rope from the back of the tug, pulls on the side of the float using a shackle and stroll. Now this makes it a very safe, quick, easy way of moving across the river, and these are run by the local council. And if you look above the wheel dash, you see a display of the Dartmouth. And what this means by law is restricted the ability to voluntary, shared equally amongst the crew, heavily taxed,